session we're going to look at how to print in Excel. Keep in mind that Excel was designed to store information in spreadsheets and was not set up to print. That doesn't mean we can't print from Excel and make things look good. The first thing you want to do when you want to start to print is do a print preview of what it is you think you want to print. In this case, I'm going to go up here to File, Print Preview, and it's showing me in landscape mode that the information will print on 3 pages. Look at the bottom right hand corner here, you'll see 1 of 3. This is probably a good way to print this information because it does fit nicely on landscape sheet. You will notice though that when I move to the second sheet, right now we're on page 1, let's go to page 2, we lose our headers, so we have no idea what the information is any longer. And if you have something that's 20-30 sheets long, people are going to forget what the columns are. So this is something that we're going to address. There's 2 ways of addressing it. I can come into setup on the print preview mode and make changes here, and if I do that, when I print, this will work fine, but that will only work on this print job. The next time I come in, next time I access the sheet, I would have to do this again. You can also do it at the sheet level, and I'm going to cancel this, and you'll notice that it looks exactly the same as what we were just looking at. The only difference is that I initiated it on the sheet and not on the print preview. So if I go to page setup here, it looks again very similar, but this is more sticky than the other way. So for me to get these column headers to show up on each page of my report, I come in here to rows to repeat at the top. This is under the sheet option on the page setup, and I just want column or row 1 to be on the top of each page. And I say OK, and now if we go back to our file print preview, there's page 1, it has my titles. I go to page 2, and it still has my titles, and page 3 still has titles. So now we have column headers on each page, and that will make things much easier. The other thing you want to think about when you're setting up your page is, do you want to print all the information? In this case, I had all the information. I had to turn it to landscape to make it fit, but it turns out that the consumer of my report doesn't really care about these last 4 columns that are on here. So let's go back to the original information. I'm going to close this and get back to the spreadsheet. And I'm going to set up a print range. And my print range is going to stop on the net column. So I'm going to just highlight columns A through H and come up here to File, Print Area, Set Print Area. So now if I do a print preview, we're still set up in landscape. We're still 3 pages long, but I have all this dead white space on the right. It might be to my benefit to turn this into a portrait orientation. So I'm going to go to my settings, go to page, and change it to portrait orientation. And we're now down to 2 pages. I have a little leftover space, but not a lot, and the information looks like it fits just fine. And again, you'll notice that my column headers have followed us over on the new version. There will be instances when your information is close to fitting on the page. I'm going to go back and change this so that I take 2 or 3 more rows of the west region in my print range, and then I'll show you exactly what I mean. I'm going to highlight this, and I'm going to go down into the west range, and right now you can see the page break is visible on the screen with that dotted line at below 52. I'm going to go down and take 50 to 56, row 56, and I'm going to set this as my print range, File, Print Area, Set Print Area. And now if I do the File Print Preview, you'll notice that I have 2 pages still, but on the second page I only have 4 lines of data. Well, there's a way for us to squeeze this onto 1 page instead of making it 2 pages. If I go to Page Setup, I have the option under Scaling to adjust it to fit to 1 page. And in cases where you have one or two rows that are bleeding over into a second page, this is a viable option for that. I say OK, and now it's one page. You'll notice that it didn't really change a whole lot as far as the scaling, but it did manage to squeeze those extra 4 rows onto this page. It just shrunk everything evenly so that it would fit. Again, this only works if you have a few rows that are hanging over into another page. Don't try to do this if you have a 100-page report and you want to squeeze it into one page. It looks like ants and nobody can read it. You won't be able to read it. Your consumer won't be able to read it. You'll have wasted paper. Okay. So knowing what area you want to print is important also. Say somebody has asked you for the detail for your eastern region, and we'll assume that we're going to stop on column H also on net. So I come over here and I highlight eastern region, and that's based on the first column that I'm saying that. And I'm going to set this as my print area, file print area. And now if I go to print preview, file print preview, I have this lovely report for just the eastern region. You'll notice that the headers are still there, so I didn't have to cut and paste and make an artificial spreadsheet just to make a report for this eastern region information. Okay, well, they were the tips I wanted to point out to you for today. Thank you.